Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Getting High on Leadership series. I'm your host, Rob Sanchez, and with me I have Paul Karasik, the author of Getting High on Leadership. We're making our way through his book, discussing each section on how and why to become a more conscious leader. Today, we're looking at the section called Trusting the Team. And this can be found on page 72 if you'd like to follow along. Welcome, Paul. And man, this is a big one. I feel like Trusting the Team could maybe be its own book outside of just a small section here. But the importance of this for leaders and just whether it be a company or a family or whatever you want to look at is just essential to be able to trust and delegate and know that your team is there to do the role. Right? I think leaders may sometimes look at their team as almost a nuisance instead of the catalyst to get what they need.
Yeah. It's a tough one. You know, leaders tend to be alpha, and they tend to depend on themselves. And here we have to trust the team, and trust the team, as I say in the chapter, to explore, to learn, to grow, and this is the big one, to make mistakes.
Yes, right. Because the wisdom that comes with those mistakes, if they're team-based mistakes, now you got team wisdom. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, but how do we learn? You know, we learn by mistakes. And so there's a real frustrating part when you see your team or members of your team make mistakes. It's like, oh God, you know, that's awful. No. It's
fine. Yeah, obviously we got to talk about a mistake, but then if it's something to learn about, right? I think that is key. I've seen even leaders in small companies or in small projects get too distracted. Like a little mistake will become just a massive problem for them. It's like a strike of lightning has come down and it's a problem now. And it ends up raising a lot of other heads and involving lots of people that maybe didn't need to be. Like, it's still a problem. You can't say you wanted that problem to happen, but you can respond to it gently and make sure that the people that caused the problem are learning and that it won't be created again in the future, right? It's almost like that Zen mindset of like, you don't want to linger on like an emotion longer than that emotion is applicable. And I think sometimes people want to linger on a problem or a failure for a team longer than it really needs to be. Sometimes it's just like, hey, remember, Rob has to show up on time to the calls. Don't forget. It's not suddenly this disciplined conversation or like, maybe Rob shouldn't be on the calls anymore, you know? So I've seen it happen a lot. And the quote we like to use is fail faster. So we want failure and want it as fast as possible so that we can learn quickly and keep that feedback loop just constantly going, because as that wheel keeps spinning, what it's creating is that magic of innovation. And that's where that connection with the unknown can be, and that creativity can be found, things like that.
I think most people know what we're saying here is true. It's just in the day-to-day application of it,
good point.
They don't want to see mistakes. They don't want to see wasted time. They don't want to see wasted money.
Right. It's something much different, too, to see if your money was actually wasted on that wisdom. Wasted. You paid for the wisdom.
It's not wasted. Yeah, exactly. that's the thing. It's just hard to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely feels bad.
It feels bad, but it's not. And trusting the team means that they're going to learn from that and grow from that. And because, and the other thing is, leaders can get so uppity about when people make mistakes, but they make mistakes every day. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. I screw up every
Yeah.
day. There's not a day I don't make. And you're getting all up in arms about somebody on the team because they made a mistake. And
yeah.
it's
That's
just
almost like getting back to the, if you point at the, I'm going to butcher the quote. It's something like, if you looking at the stick in someone else's eyes, ignoring
oh yeah,
the tree or the log in your own or something like that. Like it's
yeah,
easier to find that, like be like, oh, you made a mistake, when really maybe the leader's feeling some shame or some guilt about a mistake that they made that no one knows about or no one in the company called out, because that's not how companies
right.
work.
Yeah, but the point is everybody makes mistakes, and sometimes
Yeah.
mistakes cost money. There's a wonderful story about Tom Watson, who founded IBM, and one of his key executives made a huge mistake, and it cost the company millions of dollars. It cost IBM
It's a bad
millions
day
of dollars.
right there.
Yeah, it's a bad day. And so they asked Tom Watson, are you going to fire the guy? And he said, not after I invested this much money in him.
Yeah. Because now, imagine the next time that guy makes a mistake. If your values are solid, whoever did that is going to be damn sure that it doesn't happen again.
Well, yeah. That's true. And he learned from his mistake. And
Yeah,
but
and
Watson,
recognizing the value of the teammate already, huh? Like he's invested this time in this training.
that's
and like,
right.
this is a member of his team. It's not just someone he could put someone else in the chair.
Yeah, absolutely. He stayed, and being loyal comes up in this in a very subtle way. Being loyal to team members, that when they do screw up, to support them. Like I said, everybody makes mistakes, and we have to get comfortable with our people making mistakes and learning from them.
Yeah,
I've had
with the
employees
people
that
making
cost me.
decisions sometimes too, huh?
Yeah, I've had employees that cost me quite a bit of money, but they were. That's secondary to the fact that they were great employees. They really got the job. So.
Right. They had the patience, they had the attitude, they saw
They
the
had
values,
all the
that you
values,
wanted.
sense of mission. They're hardworking. Everything was tuned in. And then when they make a mistake, it's so easy to kind of let it flow. There's when they're in tune, because you don't have to reprimand the person that has a sense of mission and vision and values. They're probably doing a job on themselves. You don't need to say anything.
Probably harder than leadership comments would do.
Harder than you or I would do on them. Like we would just say, "Hey, you screwed up. It cost us a bunch of money." They're reliving it probably, every day. I screwed up.
The rumination.
Yeah, so I don't have to get on their case. I know how bad they feel, and I don't want to exacerbate that.
And if I make the mistake and then you acknowledge it, but don't come down that hard. I understand the severity of it. Like that only builds the relationship further, right? Like now
Absolutely.
I have more respect for you. I have maybe more trust. Maybe I come to you to tell you there's about to be a mistake that you haven't found out. Maybe now I start to give you some preemptive knowledge, feeling that confidence and trust. Or maybe I'm more confident to be able to make some decisions and try it differently.
It brings
next time.
Absolutely brings you together. You remind me of a story. When I was young, I was about 18 or 19. I just got my driver's license. And my father bought a new car. He bought, I think it was a Pontiac, beautiful, beautiful car. And I went to see my friend who lived in about 20, 30 minutes away. And I was tired. I was working. I had a job and I was going to school. And I fell asleep about 2 blocks in my father's brand new car, which he had just bought. And It was brand new. And I drove off I just fell asleep. I was tired. I had stayed up, and I was like, drove into the woods by my house, landed on a rock, right? This huge rock. And the car is like, it drove until finally
actually high centered it, huh?
I like I'm on top of this rock, and I am absolutely in terror
at just like what will happen now.
Well, yeah. Oh my God! Like I was okay, but like so the main thing was this brand new car. It was a Pontiac, and it was beautiful. And I said, "Oh God, I got to call my father," and I was terrified. Like, oh my God. So I call him up. I stopped. There was a house nearby. I went in, used the phone. I was only 2 blocks from my house, by the way. It was like I just couldn't get there. It was literally 2 blocks from the house.
Yeah.
And my father comes over. He walks into the woods with me, looks at the car, and he says, "We need a tow truck." And that's all he said.
Yeah.
And
assessing the problem, understanding how bad you feel already. It's not the time to now lean into you or give you an earful in the middle of the forest.
Exactly. And Rob, I swear to your point, what you just said, to this day, it's one of the closest moments I've ever had with my dad. My feeling of appreciation of him and his, I'm sorry, he said 2 things. He said, "Are you okay?" And then I said, "Yeah." He said, "We need a tow truck." And that was it. He never
showed his priorities and values.
That's it. And that was it. And to this day, it's like one of the pinnacles of my love for my dad, that he just didn't. It was just, all right.
What happened to that car, by the way? Was the car fixed?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it looked.
That's good.
But, but
maybe he saw a little bit of that too.
Maybe, yeah. Just I don't know. I should have tracked more what happened to the car, but
that's fine.
But I think that's really at the core, in terms of value of what we're talking about here today.
Yeah. And
is when people do make mistakes, let them, don't get crazy. I see bosses, it's horrible, screaming and ranting and raving and like making people feel so terrible. I hear these stories. I've heard them my whole career.
And it's like, what does anyone have to gain from that situation now? Now I have gone to my job that I have to go to because I come here all the time. I'm trying to help with this mission. And now my boss is yelling at me. How am I going to do the next job? Or how happy will I be to come back tomorrow? And then what does that even do for the leader? Getting your blood pressure all up and getting all into your anger. It's like just not it's not a healthy way to let off any steam.
No, no, there's no consciousness to it. And, there's a saying, and I want to mention it a couple times because I think it's important for leaders to understand this. Happy people get more done.
Yeah. And that's a deepity too. It sounds, there's a simplicity to it. If you just say happy people get more done, like, oh, okay, next statement. Yeah. But there's a serious deepness there that could be explored or really turned around. I think that's an excellent line, I think, to keep in mind reading this section and taking forward, into the later parts of the book too. Just like really the goal at the end of the day, even though you're leading the team, you do need them to be happy. You want them to be. It's essential to your well-being.
Yeah, and if you whack them around and you do a temper tantrum and you whatever the case may be, but somehow diminish them, they're not going to be happy. And that's why I mentioned that's why people leave jobs. And these are expensive mistakes. They cost the enterprise hundreds and hundreds of hours and tons of money and just a lot of work. You want to get people on the team, have them feel good and retain them for whatever the enterprise and initiative is about. And when, and I think that is the core message on this chapter, Rob, to understand that you trust the team and trust that they're going to make mistakes as well. And know that that's
part of the whole process.
It's
and
part
it still
of the whole
needs the same trust.
I like to see no mistakes, but when mistakes happen, it's easy to say, wow, we got our value. Like Tom Watson, hey, I invested a lot in this guy. I'm not letting him go. That whole thing.
No, great wisdom there, Paul. Appreciate it, man. And this section really drives the truth home there in the importance of the team. Now that we opened up part 2, really talking about the leader, your role as a leader, like defining mission statement, values, and things like that. I think now turning really towards the team and the value that they bring is just undoubtedly essential. So excellent conversation here as always. And thank you all for watching and listening. Please join us on the next section, and you can find a link below to purchase the book and follow along with us. Thanks. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_the conversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113, which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.